Hello, world, and welcome to our podcast where two pals with different viewpoints and thoughts who really don't know much of anything fly by the seat of their pants and discuss news, politics, conspiracy theories, and much more. One's a genius, the other's an idiot. Or are they both idiots?
Or are they both geniuses?
You be the judge. Now, live from beautiful Central Florida, it's Political No Brainer. Your host on your right, and always right, 100% of the time. It's me, Zach. And to your left, well, you know he's what he is. It's Coach Trippy. Hey, Tripperoo.
Hey, Zach. Hey, Kevin.
We've
Thanks for
got we've got a
joining us.
special guest tonight. It's our friend Kevin Doncaster. Did I say that right, Doncaster?
You said it right.
Excellent. He is with Warhawk PTSD Service Dogs, and he's here to tell us all about his. I'm going to call it a ministry because I don't like using the word charity. I think anybody who is in a charitable position is in a ministry because they are helping people who need help. So, Kevin, tell us about yourself, how you got in this, what you do, and how people can reach out and help you.
Well, first of all, thank you for what you just said. This is my ministry. I got saved in 2010, just prior
Sorry,
to.
I gotta laugh, and it's because my wife and I are ordained pastors, and I'm saved, and Jeff's, well, anyway.
I'm saved. He's
You are. I'm
talking
just
nonsense.
I'm
Well,
just
we're going to
talking
help
nonsense.
Jeff. We're going to help Jeff. It's very special to be introduced in the way that you did. This is my ministry.
Thank you.
You don't have to believe what we believe. You don't have to like anything that we like. You just have to do one thing to receive a dog from us, and that's allow us to pray over you as we hand you your dog.
Beautiful.
And I learned in 2010, moments before I went to Afghanistan for the first time, and I'd been to Iraq for 3 consecutive tours prior to that. Man, without God, I'm not going to make it. And so I got saved in 2010. And when I started this organization in 2019, we said right out the gate, love God, love people, serve both. And we're going to put God first in all we do.
Amen.
We don't require you to believe what we believe. But today, we have 57 dogs in 22 states in 5.5 years. And I don't know any organization that's ever done that. We focus strictly on PTSD. The national average is $25,000 and takes 3.5 to 5 years to complete. We do it in as quick as 6 months, as long as 18 months. And it'll only go 18 months if we believe that that dog has the aptitude to complete the task and mission for that recipient. Otherwise, we wash them out and then we work with GI Wish and provide a pet for a vet. And who wouldn't want a pet for a vet,
Right.
especially if you've got the housebreaking, the crate training, and some basic obedience. So it's a great marriage that we've got. We've got other strategic alliances, and I can go on and on. But ultimately, how did we get started? Why is it called Warhawk? Those are the questions that I get asked all the time. So I'm going to tell you, I have this haircut, right, that you see on the back of my head. I wear a mohawk. I wear it every day. Today, I call it a professional mohawk. I can actually call it a faux hawk, but I really call it a war hawk. And the first time I ever wore it was in Afghanistan. And guys would call me Mohawk Man. I'd say, guys, this is not a Mohawk. It's a war hawk. We're at war. We got to win this thing. Lock it up. We got work to do. And that's how this whole thing was born. I thought the only appropriate way to name this organization was to call it Warhawk Service Dogs.
That's awesome.
Um, you know, I was searching for answers in 2019. I was on 12 medications. I was 270 pounds. You're looking at a plump 185. I'm 5'11", so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm almost back to my fighting weight. But those medications, the therapy took a toll on me. When you deal with mental health issues, when you deal with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, doctors attack two things: neuroepinephrine and serotonin. And when you play with those two chemicals in your body, you can either get better or worse. And I got worse, and I had some dark days. I knew I needed to get off medication. I needed an alternative to those things. I went on a road trip to Colorado Springs. And, here's the thing about Colorado Springs. The Air Force is there. The Space Force is there, I'm sure, too. It is the number one place in all of America for active duty service members who are literally killing themselves. And why is that happening? Normally, you hear about this stuff about the 22 a day veterans killing themselves. We have this problem that is rampant in active duty.
Mm.
And I don't understand why, because Colorado Springs is beautiful. It's a
Yes.
great place to be. So, anyway, I go visit Dwight Whitworth. After telling him that I'm struggling, this guy leaned in like an accountability partner and mentor in ways that I can't even begin to describe to you. I served with him in Afghanistan. He was in the Air Force, and he was my battle buddy. He went toe to toe with me. He got me out of those graveyard moments. He ripped me out, pulled me up, and he mentored me in ways that I can't begin to explain to you. He got my life right. I carried on from that location to Missouri and saw Julie Vintage. And, I got 25 Marines tattooed on my arm right here. You probably can't see it too well, but you can see the dates. And that year in 2010, 25 Marines were killed. Another 230 lost an arm or leg or both. And of those Marines of Dark Horse, 3rd Marine Battalion, 5th Infantry Division, I don't know how many are alive to this day. My alive day is October 13th. That's when Philip Vinage died with 3 other Marines.
That's
My
also my wife's
helicopter.
birthday. It's kind of ironic you say
That's
that.
kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Bad day for me, but it's
Yeah.
my live day. And my helicopter took fire. We crippled back to base. I get off the chopper. It goes up in smoke. And that was my first mission. I didn't even make it to my base. Nonetheless, Julie had this beautiful white German Shepherd. And I could immediately tell it was a different kind of dog. I didn't know what was happening, but I asked questions, and she said, "That's my PTSD service dog. You need to get one." So I looked around. I reached out to a guy by the name of Anthony Parnell, and he gifted me Lacey that you guys just met before we went on the show. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even look at her and feel bad. She's too damn beautiful. And that's the whole point of our program. Yeah, of course we task train. Of course we do, obedience and advanced obedience. And then we find out, what do you need? You having night terrors? Well, we're going to train that dog to rip the blankets off of you, turn on the lights, get you to wake up. Then that dog will come alongside you and comfort you until you go back to sleep, get you out of that nightmare. It just depends on what that veteran needs.
Right.
At the end of the day, I received Lacey. 2 weeks later, my buddy killed himself. I called Anthony Parnell, who would not accept a dime from me. And I said, "How do I do what you did for me for a lot of people?" And here we are today, 57 dogs, 22 states. And I am determined to be in all 50 states. And I'm also determined to unleash a training program online where we teach you, the everyday Joe, how to train your own dog. Because there is no requirement that you have to go to a professional organization like mine. I've got to turn the tide on the suicide rate. And let's talk about one more thing before I turn it back over to you to ask questions and have a great conversation. They say it's 22 a day. In 2019, that went up by 53%. That's before COVID. COVID shut down mental health sessions until we learned how to do what we're doing, having it virtual. COVID shut down the ability to get treatment. What do you think the real number is? It's not 22. It's north of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
And when I say that I've done 57 dogs, I'm not even proud of that number. Not even remotely close. 57 dogs has taken me 5.5 years. We've moved faster than anybody in the charitable organization for service dogs for mental health. And I'm not proud of it. I need to do more, and I need the people's help to do more. So I'm sure we're going to put a plug in later about how they can help.
100%.
And
Absolutely.
we need help financially. That's what it all comes down to. Money's what makes the world go round. And if I want to help as many people as I possibly can, I need help financially. But I'm proud of my organization. We've done some kick-ass things. I don't know anybody else on the planet that's a nonprofit that's done what we've done. And I'm going to keep pushing hard. But long story short, the rest is history. And here we are today. And now you guys are meeting me because I got kicked out of a damn restaurant.
That's how we met. I know we don't want to talk about it really, do we? Or
No, I do. I do. I do. I just don't want to give any credence to the organization that did that to me because that would only
right.
give them publicity. And as you know, Trump says it doesn't matter if it's bad publicity or good publicity, it's publicity. So we're not going to mention their name.
No, let's not mention their name, but let's talk about that. So, well, first I want to ask how many, when you say you've gotten 57 dogs, two vets fully,
57 dogs, 22 states,
how many pets for
five and a half.
vets? How many pets for vets? How many didn't make the cut but still did a great, or still beautiful dogs?
So you can basically take that 57 times it by two. That's how many dogs we've been through. So
Wow,
57 service dogs, 57
57
pets for
pets for
vets
vets.
that are professionally trained, have obedience, but they don't take to the task training. So yeah, we've done pretty good in that arena.
Yeah,
Right.
that's great. So
That's
you
awesome.
walked into a
Do
restaurant.
you guys do any kind of pet dog?
Hey, let me just tell you, we've done purebreds, we've done rescues. The rescue that I'm proud of the most is number 56. Tate Holterman's dog out of Springdale, Arkansas, was about to be killed. She was at a kill shelter. Beautiful, beautiful German Shepherd. We turned her into a service dog.
Oh, that's
Wow,
amazing. Love to
that
hear
is
it. Love to
beautiful.
hear it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I had a dog, Scooby. He was a rescue, and he was an amazing dog. He was beautiful.
Boz's my Black Lab Pizza rescue.
Yeah.
So
Rescues can be some of the greatest dogs you've ever seen on the planet. Now, I am partial. You met Lacey, she's an Australian Shepherd. But here's the deal, man. Aussies shed twice a year, 6 months in the fall, 6 months in the summer, right? So not everybody can deal with that amount of hair. I mean, you can make a damn wool blanket, as far as I'm concerned, with all that Lacey sheds. So some people can't handle that. And so we got to be considerate to those. I will say this, and I'm careful to say this because somebody recently reached out to me and had a horrible story. And you know what? We're still going to try, but it is very difficult to train a Chihuahua to be a service dog. Okay, guys, I need a medium-sized dog or a very large dog. Um, and this is not a statistic that I like to share, but the women that reach out to us that were serving our country, 95% of them were subjected to sexual assault.
right.
When I get them a dog, I get them a Belgian Malinois that's going to protect them to the death, or I get them a King German Shepherd from my trusted breeder out of New York. Great dogs. They're
Wow.
very intentional in what they do. And as a father of a daughter and having been through life altering threats to my life, my dog's life, and my daughter's life, not just recently with the news, but also since inception of my charity. To all the women out there battling the stressors in life of sexual harassment or even just assault. I want to just say, if you ever need our help, you can reach out to us. It it's a it pulls on my heartstring. I don't want to go on record as saying this, but I realize we're recording, and I'm going to say this anyway. As a young boy, I was subjected to things that no little boy should ever been subjected to, and we're just going to leave it at that. So I have a heart and a passion for kids, for women that are assaulted, and for Gold Star families, and that's why my organization is passionate about veterans, first responders, and then special circumstances of PTSD. I'm very proud of all that we've accomplished in the last 5.5 years.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really, really good. And
And
I have
funding
it.
is key. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna
Yeah, of
have to do
course.
that. Yeah.
I have a passion to get involved with you too, because that's something that is near and dear to my heart. My daughter, who you haven't met, she just walked in and grabbed her dog, but she's in her senior year at UCF studying psychology. So this is probably a show she'll want to watch and learn more about. She's very much into working with animals and children, helping them with their issues, and music. She's big music person. So she's going through that. She's a music minor and a psychology major. And what she'd really love, I think, is if I bought a big farm and she had her own little side of it and raised dogs herself. So maybe we can hook you guys up, and she would love that.
You know
But
what? I want to tell you that the focus in 2025 and beyond, we're obviously going to give individuals dogs, but it sounds like your daughter would be a great candidate for us. There's the thought process of Lacey, who just literally laid behind me and then gave
I
me.
saw her. She's back there.
She gave a. That means she's frustrated. She's like, Dad, it's bedtime. I got to go to work. I got to pay attention to you when you, have night terrors. So she's letting me know it's that time. But we've really thought, how can we reposition in 2025? I still want to help individuals, but how can we take a dog and do what we did, like we did for Lacey? Lacey is the only dog we train to interact with the public, with the exception of two other dogs. One's in a school, and the other one is in Michigan as a therapy dog and travels all around Michigan, just serving people, just helping them, just taking them out of those bad situations that they're in mentally up here. I want to put a dog in an early retirement home. I want to put a dog in the hands of a therapist where when they're counseling or consoling somebody, that dog can go to work. So I think your daughter and I should have a conversation and see what
100%.
we do, because
100%.
how do we take one dog and affect multiple lives instead of taking one dog and helping one person? Now, we're still going to help one dog, one person at a time, but how do we help hundreds, if not thousands, through one dog? And we got a lifespan. We're hoping to get anywhere between 7 and 12 years of life expectancy out of these dogs. So we got to be smart in how we do business, and we got to be smart in how we impact the world. And I do mean world. We reach 250 million people around the globe every single year through our social media and website. And I wish everyone would give a damn dollar, because if they gave a damn dollar, man, my problems would be over. And I've always said, I don't care if we raise $1 million, we'll spend 1,000,001 every single year. So that's the message I want to send to the world, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today.
That's awesome. And that's why we're here. Our show's called Political No Brainer, but we do not focus solely on politics. And this is a side of the show that we really, I think, is near and dear to both mine and Jeff's heart, because we
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
we both have a passion to help people. I joke around and say I don't like people and don't care, but it's not true. I mean,
No,
we have a
I
passion
actually,
to, we do definitely. And when I hear you're doing stuff with animals, uh, the only thing that you're ever going to see me get choked up about on TV is if it's a commercial about a pet. I can't watch them ASPCA commercials.
Well,
They get to me every time.
but let's take it political for a second. You guys know
Sure.
about the Pause Act, right?
Pause,
no,
PAWS.
PAWS, the Pause Act. It's
I
a
haven't heard about that.
Biden administration initiative that happened, I think, year one of his administration, or him coming in office. It was a $400 million initiative to help get veterans service dogs.
Yes.
Okay. How many people do you know have benefited from the Pause Act?
Wait,
I
is there a
don't.
figure?
I've not met one. In fact, in all my time, I've only met one individual that received a service dog from the VA, and it took them 7 years to get that man a dog. Now, I want to tell you something. We're in the mental health business, we're in the PTSD business. Name one person that can wait 7 years struggling with mental health issues or suicidal ideation that can wait that long. 7 years?
You
That's the
can't. No,
best you
that
can
it
do.
shouldn't be wait
We've
seven
rolled out
months.
a
Is too
dog as
long.
soon as 6 months, and it is professionally trained and fully task trained. And I think we're the authority on the issue.
Well, wouldn't it be better if they took that 400 million and got 1 million of it to 400 of organizations like yours
I
and
think
just
that would be exceptional, but instead, there's so much damn red tape. So I want people
right?
to also hear this. As long as we have the time, money, and resources, we're going to pour into you. I've got equine therapy. If you're homeless, I can put you on a ranch today. I can put you on a ranch today where you be clothed, fed, you'll get therapy, and you'll work horses until you're ready to go back out into general population again.
Right.
I got free mental health. I am so networked with so many different organizations. There are great Let's say that you are a veteran and your car broke down and you can't afford to fix it. Dog Tag Garage will come in and help you. Not only will they just tow your vehicle, they'll ask you two questions. Hey, here's the assessment on your car. Here's what parts cost, and here's what labor costs. Can you afford either? Yes, I can afford parts. Can't afford labor. Done. We're going to fix it for you. Can't afford either. We're going to get a donor and sponsor. We're going to take care of your vehicle. We're going to get you back on the road. I got so many connections over the last 6 years. To be frank with you, last 12 years, if it's easy enough for me to get done, what the hell is wrong with our government? You want to talk politics? Why are we sending so much damn money over to Ukraine and all this other bullshit? But we aren't taking care of our own fucking house. Excuse my
Right.
language, but the FCC doesn't have any regulation over what the fuck I'm about to say. Why are we not taking care of our own backyard before we start helping other people? We're tax paying individuals. We have pain and suffering right outside my door.
Yes,
And we're going to send money overseas. Is that what we asked you to do as our leaders in government? I don't fucking think so.
I agree. 100.
Did I ask to get kicked out of a restaurant? Did I ask for that lady in Lincoln, Nebraska to get kicked out and challenged and inappropriately assaulted verbally with her service dog? I don't fucking think so. You're so busy focusing on all these other countries that don't give two shits about us, but you don't want to pour back into the people that have afforded you the privilege of serving as a senator, congressman, or governor. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yeah, put that shit on the news. I don't give a fuck. I will say exactly what I want to say because I serve my country. I got a mixed bag of service for 14 fucking years. I'm tired of this bullshit. You send us to the VA. I got veterans killing themselves in the parking lot of the VA. And why? Because the VA is not a bad organization. They are under resourced, underfunded, and outnumbered every single day, just like me. So why do you think I cut all the red tape?
That and I believe they're also probably just burned out. The doctors are just burned out because they got no relief, no break.
Yeah.
What can the average Joe who might be watching this, other than giving $1, what can they do? How can they help?
Well, I'm a public speaker. That was probably not my best public speaking moment, but
You're allowed to vent. It's okay.
I like to.
Absolutely.
We're grown ups.
I love it because I think people need to hear the raw passion behind what's going on behind closed doors.
Well, look, this has been my argument, and I see things that are going on, and former things that I've done. I know some of my bros are what they go through, and what has happened and everything, and I just don't. I don't think. Oh my gosh. Other than my father coming back from the dead because he's rolling over so many times, it just stymies me that this is not the America I want to leave for my kids.
it's not.
And it's people like us. Look, are there other countries that need help? Absolutely. But I'm sorry. Uncle Sam is getting stretched very, very thin, and his own peeps aren't getting handled.
Let me tell you
So
something, man.
Uncle Sam needs
I
to
want to touch on that. I want to
Uncle
touch on
Sam needs, as I learned long, long time ago, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I
yeah.
learned a long time ago, before you step outside the four walls, perfect the four walls, then go outside.
Amen, brother. And I served with a lot of great men. And I'm not going to say this gentleman's name because I can't recall if he's out right now or if he's still in. And if I out his name, it's very possible that he'll be ostracized.
Yeah.
He's a great leader, a warrant officer. And he says to me, Kevin, why do you think we're losing here in Afghanistan? That was a tough question for me to answer. And his response was, because nobody over here wants honey boo boo. Think about that for a second. What are we doing? Why are we nation building? Why are we trying to give people that don't give two shits about national defense? And why are we nation building? Why are we doing that?
Mm.
Hearts and minds doesn't exist in Afghanistan. Let me tell you.
Well, no, and that was
Tribes want to fight each other.
Right.
And the last thing I'll say, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, boss, because you've been quiet all night.
Which
We
is
want to see
good
your
because he
sexy
talks
ass
too
on
much
this,
anyway.
on this podcast. Why do we got to be number one all the time? Being number one has created a national debt so high that we're never going to be able to service that debt. In addition to that, we've created entitlement programs that are unserviceable as well.
Mm.
Let's let China and Russia take front for a while. Let's play the game that they played on us. Let's infiltrate their ass. Let's send all the southern border motherfuckers that keep coming from further south than that and funnel their ass into China, funnel their ass into Russia, and let them take care of all the welfare that they got to offer in those countries until they stop coming into our fucking country, right? So that's just my thought process. We've been bastardized from within, and we've allowed open border policies and bullshit bureaucracy to overrun the things that we put in place during what the Great Depression and World War II era, the New Deal. I'm a history buff, man. Ain't nobody gonna win with me on this. We created those things, unemployment, food stamps, all those things to help people rise up out of their poverty situation and survive until they can find something better. And now they've become entitlement programs. And Kennedy was a great president. He's a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not left or right. I'm independent. In fact, I'm not independent. I'm an American. So I've voted both ways more than once. And I feel that the problem today is every single American wants to be a manager, and they want, what can you give me? What can you give me? And it's time to get back to nationalism and talk about what can you do for your country? Because that 1% that protects your sorry fucking ass has given up everything so that you can have that bullshit mentality. So it's time to pour back into the community that cares more about you than you care about yourself.
So, to all those points, let me start by one. You're right. We do need to do more here at home than we're doing. And one of the things is, like you said, that 400 million for pause for the Biden
The
administration.
Pause Act, the Pause Act. And by
Pause
the
Act.
way, that's gone now, and that got funneled into what do they call it? Pork fat or whatever.
Right. Pork.
It got taken back because it didn't get used up, and
Right.
that's that.
So
So
in
carry
government, when they don't use the money, they retrieve the money. They don't give it to you the next year. They just you either use it or use as much as possible. What you use is what you'll get the next year. That 400 million went nowhere. Um, when we talk about the time we spent in Afghanistan, just like you said, they don't want Honey Boo Boo. They don't want our culture. They are an ideology. They want their own thing. And what were we doing there for 20 years? And I never have figured that out because even the one mission statement we had there was to find bin Laden, and he was in Pakistan, nearby, next door. So America's made a giant habit of getting involved in wars for the last 50 years. When anybody says, why is China so far ahead of us, it's because they haven't been in wars for the last 50 years. They've been focused on their economy and their infrastructure, and we've been focused on war after war after war. And it's not right. But that aside, because I can go on and on about that, what are we doing for our vets? And we're not doing enough. So I was just going to say, I volunteer or help out in a place called the Old Katarina Hotel, State of Hope. It's a home. It's a home for homeless veterans. We house about 70 veterans. It's on Lee Road in Orlando, across the street from Motel 6. Those guys have so much trouble getting all their paperwork done. They don't even have driver's licenses sometimes. Dr. Eileen Diaz, the president of the State of Hope, works hard to get these guys. She prays with them. She helps them with their paperwork. We need to streamline the process, get them homes, get them service dogs, get them medical care, get them cars, get them involved in gyms, and we don't do any of that. We send guys to war, they come home, and we're just done with them after that. And that's just wrong. So the one thing I always point out about is there's a thing now, and Biden passed it as well. It's called the burn bill. And the burn bill was what was allocated to the burn bill was almost $250 billion. But they've been talking about the problems that the burn bill addresses for 50 years now, since Agent Orange. They're talking about veterans that have come home sick from all kinds of toxins being in wars, including sleeping by fire pits where we were burning tires and burning oil fields and burning chemicals and burning
Well,
spin-off.
let me touch on that for just 1 second, and then just pause you for 1 second. I've been next to burn pits. I have a condition that's called diastolic dysfunction. Do you know what that is?
Oh,
Your left valve is responsible for sending blood to your entire body. My
Diastolic.
left
Your
valve,
diastolic valve. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, my left valve regurgitates. So when I go upstairs, I get gassed. I'm sitting at 185. My doctor wants me at 165. Now I think I'm looking pretty damn good. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to like, go out there for man of the year or anything like that. But 165 is going to make me look pretty damn sickly. But that's the level that I got to get to address diastolic dysfunction, which there is no cure for, and that's a result of being next to burn pits.
sleeping next to burn pits, sleeping next to burning tires and
Correct.
chemicals and fuels that the military didn't want to leave behind, or it just is a spinoff from, I don't know, fixing tanks. I don't know where all these chemicals came from, but and essentially after 50 years of veterans saying, look, we are affected by this Agent Orange. They've taken out all the thresholds. You can literally claim that money. You can get that treatment now. And my point is, I can't go into specifics about the bill other than I know it's around $250 billion, but it took a president's son to die from the effects of those kind of sleeping next to burn pits. Joe Biden's son died from brain cancer that they're attributing to sleeping next to those burn pits. What does it take to realize how much good service dogs do? What does it take to realize that a lot of veterans are homeless not because of PTSD, they're homeless because that's the blender. They're homeless because when they went into the military, they didn't know anything about living on their own. They didn't know anything about successful living. So when they went into the military, they had a house, they had a job, they had a paycheck. When they get out of the military, they don't know any about it. What does it take to educate people on how to live a successful life? Not just say, you are the kind of kid that runs around, gets in all sorts of trouble, and the solution is join the military. They are the kind of kid that gets in a lot of trouble, and the military will do them a lot of good. But when they leave the military, what happens then? These are so many things that we do not talk about or address. That's what I saw your post. And granted, we're not going to go into the restaurant, but somebody's shunning you, telling you can't be in this restaurant, though, because you have a dog with you, and that dog is a big part of your life now, and you've given your life to our country and our safety and our freedoms. And that person, and then you call to say, I need to talk to the manager, and the person that told you couldn't come in was the manager. I almost feel like we need, but like you said, we're not going to talk about that, but there needs to be federal laws addressing that. There needs to be
Well,
protesting
hold
restaurants.
on a second.
Well, let me share a success
Well,
story.
just quick
Oh,
question. Are your
yeah,
dogs certified?
100%. We're the certifying authority on that process.
Okay. So then if anybody knows as a restaurant manager, if you kick someone out with a service dog, then you're going to have the ADA come after you, the American Disabilities
Absolutely.
Act.
Yeah, you're
So
breaking a federal law.
yeah,
You
it
can't
is a law.
ask
It
them.
is a law already.
It already is. It's a 30-year-old law, 30 years plus. It needs to be updated. I had empathy towards the restaurant because they are right next to a truck stop. People come in all the time, say they have a service dog. You don't have to have a service dog vest. There is nothing that says you have to have a vest on your dog that identifies. So we're gonna add discrimination then, right?
And it's
You
also
want me to
illegal for them
put
to
that I
ask
have
you
a
what's
service
wrong.
dog and I have a medical condition that you can embarrass me? Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Oh,
So
plus
anyway,
that's even
but people go and buy vests and they fake the funk on a nasty dunk and they hurt people like me. And all I can think about in this whole process is if they're willing to treat the founder of the best service dog organization on the planet like that, what are they going to do to the next asshole that walks in there? And that guy then walks out and blows his brains out because he was treated the way I was treated. I didn't just walk out with shame. I called back to find out who that was, and it was literally like the Dave Chappelle show. Oh, you want to talk to the manager? Surprise, motherfucker! I'm the manager, right?
Uh-huh.
It was just like that.
and
And
that's
he
just disgusting.
ridiculed me on the phone,
Ugh.
lit me up, then went to social media. And unfortunately for her, she didn't have the presence that I did. And she tried to take her little audience and say what a piece of shit I was. Tell me something. What kind of piece of shit goes into that same restaurant without my dog the week prior and tips every single person from busboy all the way back to cook $100 a piece? Tell me that.
Right.
Now,
Well,
changing subjects for just 1 second. Just 2 days ago, a lady that I know walked into an establishment in Lincoln, Nebraska, and was no shit treated in the same manner I was. She reached out to me, said, Kevin, you're not going to believe this, but I literally just went through the same thing. I said, all right, hold on. I've had death threats. I've had people walk on my property with guns drawn to come kill my dog. And I've had death threats to my daughter. I don't want that for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause all traffic. Because of the nature of the establishment, we're going to go to the mayor of Lincoln and we're going to explain your scenario. We're going to remove all emotion and stick to facts. I want you to draft an email, send it to me. I'm going to give you my notes, send it back. We were so professional. And at 11 a.m. this morning, they responded and it was a win. There is going to be city-wide training on service dogs.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So
it is beautiful. So instead of my situation winning, it turned into fucking hate and division. And in this situation, the mayor of Lincoln said, we're not going to be like Council Bluffs. We're going to be better than that. And we're going to go above and beyond to ensure that veterans, first responders, and anybody else carrying a service dog can feel honored and respected in our public spaces. How about them apples?
Did you say you're in Council Bluffs?
I am in Council Bluffs.
That's where my wife was born. She's from Sioux City.
They call it Counciltucky over here, and I have not figured out why. Could you please explain?
I don't know. I've never been, but that's pretty cool. So is that where your base is?
My base is in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, where we were born. We're in 22 states. We have no.
Are you? I'm sorry. You're in Council Bluff, Oklahoma.
Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Okay, that's what I thought.
My charity was born in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
We have no borders, and that's why we're in 22 states. Now,
beautiful.
From a fundraising perspective, I will tell you, this has hurt us because people want to know that our dollars stay local to where they're donating. And I say, if that's your requirement, don't donate. The military goes wherever the need is. We will go wherever the need is, and that's why I don't have any borders.
Right. You could be Alaska. Will you go out of the country?
I'm really waiting, guys. I just want, I'm just saying, I'm really hoping that somebody applies from Hawaii really, really soon because I want to take that dog there.
That would be amazing. You don't want to go to Alaska?
I do want to go to Alaska, just not whenever you have to have your happy light. You know what I'm saying?
I'm serious. I'm hearing you. Will you go out of the country if there's a serviceman in a different country or something, or are you trying to stick to U.S. states?
Man, hi guys. There's a mission I tried several years ago. It did not go well. Listen, I have served with several different forces from around the globe. Polish, Germans, Romanians, but the ones that are nearest and dearest to my heart, we call them Kiwis, New Zealanders.
New Zealand, yeah.
You know that New Zealand has been side by side with us since day one. They have a rich history of supporting America. And I'll never forget when I was in Iraq, I got on a plane. Gentlemen, I got to get to Basra. We flew around and we were in a Sherpa. It's a low altitude plane. It's fast and carry a little bit of weight. And we got shot up pretty bad. The pilot was hit, I think, in the thigh, and the co-pilot was hit in the calf muscle, or could have been, opposite of what I'm just saying. I know that the crew chief patched him up. He came out to me and said, "Hey, mate, you want to, suck on this?" And he handed me oxygen. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, we're about to drop 10,000 feet in less than 60 seconds. And when we went, brrr, I was like, I was sucking on that oxygen like you wouldn't believe. And
Right.
we doing all these combat rolls and maneuvers while they called it an AC 130. I'd never seen an AC 130 in action before. And he banked at just the right time. And he told us to look out a certain window. And they took out an anti aircraft with armor piercing rounds, uh, an Iraqi position. And I watched just Earth. I'm telling you, that AC 130 destroyed everything, which looked like miles, but it was probably 100 feet or yards. I don't even know, man. I just felt like I had the biggest boner in the history of mankind because it was like America. It was just amazing to watch that. And then when we landed at the base that I had to get to, I get out and I just chucked as soon as I got off that plane. I barfed, and I barfed bad because all the rolls and stuff they
Oh
were
yeah.
doing, that those Sherpas, they were really maneuverable, and the intentionality behind those combat maneuvers they were doing was trying to keep us in the line of fire while that AC 130 moved in. So those pilots were pretty courageous. They were Kiwis, and I'll never forget it because they got me where I had to get safely. And I've met a lot of Kiwis over the years, and I have a desire to deliver a dog to New Zealand as a unit dog for those New Zealanders, especially the unit that saved my ass. When I got off that plane, the crew chief came up to me and handed me my favorite candy bar of all time, a Snickers bar.
Nice.
Hey, mate, just get the shit out your mouth. I'll never forget it, man. You can't make this stuff up. And that brotherhood and the mental health issue, it's not just in America, it's local. It's way beyond local, excuse me, is what I meant to say. And we have asked far too many nations to stand by us as we go and do the good fight. So I have a desire to deliver internationally to answer your question.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's good to hear. But let's perfect the four walls, as I said before. Let's get all 50 states covered, and then we'll go from there.
We're getting there. We're
This
almost
is
halfway there, brother.
this is a beautiful thing to do, and let's talk about how we get money to you and stuff. Because is it? I know the PT service dogs. PT. Just tell us the website because I've been on it.
Yeah.
Warhawk
Warhawks.
PTSD service dog.
www.warhawkptsdservicedogs.org. You can message us on Facebook at Warhawk PTSD Service Dogs. And if you can't hear all that and it's too confusing, you can call or text 918-815-6775. That number again is 918-815-6775. Please be patient with us. We have been inundated as a result of being kicked out of a restaurant 2 weeks ago. So please just understand it takes us a little time to get back to you. But
Well,
we
we're
love
we're
your
gonna
support.
we're gonna definitely post your website, your Facebook link, and your phone number on everything we put this out on. This is a near and dear definitely to my heart, and I know it is for Jeff because he works with the like I said here in Orlando, he said the homeless veterans homeless shelter. And I mean, I've got a lot of bros that one of the things you're taught not to do, at least at my age, we were taught not to talk about our issues, and so a lot of the bros I know don't talk about this problem, but something like this, what big tough mean Marine, Navy vet, whoever wouldn't just fall in love with a freaking dog? Come on. I mean, I never in my life, and I tell this man to man, I never in my life could imagine when my first dog passed away. I had an American Rottweiler. His name was Rocco. He was amazing. And look at him. What's up, buddy? But when Rocco passed away, I cried like a baby. And
Oh yeah.
it's very, very tough. But I tell you what, I never thought in a million years I'd sleep with a dog, and my boss sleeps right next to me every night. He keeps me actually, I've woken up. I am been blessed. I don't have PTSD, but I've dealt with a bout of anxiety for a while, and every once in a while, it'll try and creep up on me, so I can relate. And I've woken up a couple times, and he knows he sits right next to me, and he just licks me till he knows it annoys me more than anything else, which changes my mind of what I'm thinking of to what he's doing, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good, I'm going back to sleep. But so and I'm not trying to say my problems are near what some of those heroes' problems are. And these guys definitely need, you know
Well,
what? One of
hang
my
on.
greatest,
I want to stop you right there
yeah,
because when we get into comparative reality, that's where I pump the brakes. Listen, man, every 13 minutes in America, someone is killing themselves.
yes.
Every 13 minutes, mental health is a big issue, and you don't have to go to war like I did to experience one. There's a lot of people out there today. There's not a single person I know that isn't battling something. So I don't ever want you to say, I haven't been through what you've been through. You probably have.
I mean,
If we were
I
really deep
appreciate
dive,
that because we do all have our own demons, and
Right.
I appreciate that. And so and I'm not trying to make little of it by any means, but you know what? One of my favorite videos that I've seen recently, uh, a state trooper pulled up behind a car that was parked on the side of the road. He went to check on the guy, and it was a vet in the car who was on the phone with the VA, and they couldn't get him. He was bawling his eyes out because
he's
he
on
wanted
the
to kill
phone with the
himself.
suicide prevention
That's what it
hotline.
was. Yeah.
I've seen it.
And
I cried.
yeah, that trooper just gave him a hug. And I that's to me, that's, you know,
That's
what
humanity at its
that's it.
finest.
That's it. It's fine. Right. Absolutely. That guy was my hero. So, how many guys would I love to just give a hug to and just help them out or help them with a dog? So we need to get your word out there and get people educated on this and get people helping us out any way, shape, or form. I didn't know this was going to turn into a I hate to call it a call-a-thon, but I didn't know it was going to turn into a fundraiser. But I have no problem saying
No, I
100%.
want
I get
you.
behind this
Well, you know what?
100%.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to give a shout out to. There's a guy. His name is Wayne Point. He showed up at my event on Thursday. Chords for Canines. It's our showcase every year. We have a great concert. Jimmy Weber. He's an Air Force veteran. He's a Country Hall of Fame, Nebraska Country Hall of Famer, and he closed it down with Brian Lidgett, and we had a great time. So here's this guy, Wayne Point, and Legit Music donated this beautiful guitar. It went for $3,000, and this guy felt so inspired after hearing my story, seeing Tate Holterman talk for the first time, bringing a Gold Star mother on the stage that has stood up a charity to help the children of the fallen called the Precious Legacy. Beautiful organization. I gave her two dogs, one for her, one for her daughter. The daughter got it first. I gave her one later because that mama has kept that family together despite everyone wanting to kill themselves.
Mm,
And long story short, this guy, Point Roofing Nebraska LLC, said, I'm going to match that $3,000 that went for. I'm going to match it. So he
beautiful.
gave an additional $3,000. He didn't win a damn thing. He just wants to be involved. And starting on the first, he is telling every business out there, I'm challenging you to put up $5,000 like I have. I will match anyone up to $5,000 right now. So if one business says we give 1,000, another one 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, he's putting up $5,000. And that's the campaign we're going to have on the first. And I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm telling you, this is a big deal.
Well, this will be
This
up
is
on
going to
YouTube
be
and
our
Facebook.
operational budget for 2025 because we're still paying off the dogs that we've done this year. And it's a big deal. People need to get inspired.
Okay,
It,
so I don't know if this is a personal question, but what is your operational budget?
we've never had one.
Okay,
An operational budget would
what do you need to keep above water?
for the end of this year.
for 2025?
For 2025, it costs us $10,000 per dog. So if we want to do 5 dogs, we need $50,000 and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Here's what I can tell you. By the end of the year, to honor our commitments for 2024, we're literally right at just over $40,000. That's how much business we've done this year.
Okay.
So we carried over some debt from last year. That's a bad deal, right? But that's the world we live in. It's an election year. People have been scared. There's so much going on in the world. And you know what people are doing today? They're taking their money and they're buying gold and precious metals because they think it's the end.
Right.
If it's truly the end, you're going to need three things, folks. Let me educate you on this. And it's not gold and it's not money because that shit's not going to be worth any damn thing. The three things you're going to need is number one, you're going to need a garden. Number two, you're going to need a pitchfork to cultivate that garden. And number three, you're going to need a shotgun to keep me off your garden when I'm hungry. So I don't know why people are being so stingy with their money, and I don't really care because those that do show up, whether they got $5 or $5,000, I'm so appreciative of them. Big and small, we'll take it all. And there's a lot of great, deserving people that are probably going to raid your garden when that shit goes down anyway. So we're very well professionally trained, and I hope you're ready to hire one of us with your garden when shit goes downhill.
One thing
Absolutely.
people are spending a lot of money on this election year, and it's $1 billion on two presidential candidates. I think combined they've
It's
raised
it's
over.
disgusting. It's
And
disgusting.
I would literally, I don't care who the candidate was, if either one or any other candidate for any other office said, don't send me a dime, whatever you're going to send it to Warhawk Dogs or send it to St. Jude's Children's Hospital or send it to
Absolutely.
Smile Train, which is an organization, a small organization, helps kids with cleft lip, which would be a real challenge physically.
You know St. Jude's has had to close down a couple locations because they're hurting so bad.
Right. But I did not know that, but I can imagine why. Because
But we spent $1 billion on two shitty ass candidates, and I'm being real about
I
that.
don't know that it's $1 billion. I think it's significantly
It
more.
might as well be. It might as well be. Listen, is this really the best we have for either side? I mean,
No,
is it
and
really the best we have for either side? Let's bring in somebody young with some different views who's not going to talk shit, who's going to, unify the two parties. You remember, I grew up in a time where you could be left or right and you could still respect one another. Today, it's like this, right? And you're either extreme left or you're extreme right, and there's nothing but noise in between. What happened to the time when we could actually get along and respect each other's differences, man? I'm so sick of this shit. I don't recognize my country. I don't
Right.
recognize my nation. So I built my own nation. It's called Warhawk Nation. And we're a coast to coast community that cares. And we make that shit happen for every single veteran that asks us for help.
Beautiful.
Every single one. I'm sick
well, I
of
would
this.
say one thing. I think we both, or all three of us, remember the time there was a thing called Reagan Democrats, and that's when Reagan ran for re-election. And I mean, whether you agreed with him or
I
not, he
love
was a
Reagan.
unifying force. And I don't know if we'll ever see that again, and I don't know who agreed with what he did or who didn't. I'm not asking that question tonight, but
Well, I mean,
remember that term,
as I always say, the left wing and the right wing are still attached to the same bird. So let's get at
right?
this bird.
But there was one president that conveyed that message really well and it was him.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of our shows, but I am more conservative and Jeff's a little more liberal, but we get along and talk. And this is the point of the show is that it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, you can still be friends.
For America.
We've known each other for 30 years, so there's really nothing we can say to each other that won't
I think that
that
people
hasn't
have
been said.
forgotten. People have forgotten that we have way more in common than we do in differences.
Yeah,
And those
absolutely.
indifferences shouldn't fucking matter.
I'll
No.
never forget this, and this is a funny, I don't know if it's a funny story, but whatever. When I was a little kid, my dad was a school teacher and he had a part-time job at a psychiatric hospital. He worked as a nurse's assistant, and his best friend there was this big giant of a man, this big black dude. And I remember sitting there and they were there donating blood because my dad was like on the 5 gallon club. I mean, he donated blood as much as he could. And I'm sitting there as a little kid looking at his best friend this big black guy donating blood, and I'm looking at my dad, and it's the same thing that's coming out. And that's when I realized we're the same.
We're all the same.
He just had a better tan. Oh, you're joining the club, eh? Thank
I
you.
had to, man. My eyes are struggling right now.
Well,
But also,
I was, I was looking forward to the show. I'm glad we had you on. We'll probably get you back on as a guest. When I have actually, Daniel's a vet. Um, Jeff,
Yeah. So
we
we're gonna bring
should,
him back
we'll
on.
bring him back on and you can chat with him. He's a Navy guy. Don't hold it against him. He spent most of his
oh
time in,
damn it, he's my daddy.
he spent most of his time in the brig, but,
But Marines are a department of the Navy, so
I
we should
know.
get along. But
Yeah, yeah,
is he gonna
absolutely.
get offended if I say I love public transportation because the Navy took me everywhere I needed to go?
No, he will not. He doesn't care actually. He has a podcast. He's a great guy. If you're ever on looking for something to laugh at on YouTube, check him out. He's on why am I on a blank? Paradox and Profit. Profit and
Okay.
Paradox, Paradox and Profit. Anyway, it's Daniel Quijano. He's one of my best friends. And he's a guest and a familiar guest on the show, and you'll have a good time with him. Um and we really appreciate you coming on. We love what you're doing for all our bros, those who were in the sandbox, those who were not, those who didn't make it home, and there's the ones that didn't make it home's friends that are now dealing with that who may need your services. Um, and we get that and respect that. And again, who doesn't love a freaking dog? Come on. I got three of them, and my dogs combined are probably close to 500 pounds of meat walking around the house. So, I've got big boys. So that,
Don't move to Springfield.
they're please, I want to go. I'm going to go to Springfield and identify as a cat and see what happens.
Oh
They
no,
will,
no.
this cat has a pretty big bark though. Um, so give us your information one more time.
Yeah.
Tell us your needs. I want to get it out there. I want the people to understand that this is not baloney, and we want to make sure that we show some love to you. And let me see what I can put together and
Well,
see. I got some bros who might join. You're gonna be surprised at some calls you're gonna get. I'm pretty certain.
I hope so, man. Number one, if you really want to vet me, do Kevin Doncaster KETV in a Google search and watch that. It's probably the best news interview I've ever done. It happened just before Memorial Day 2 years ago, and you get to see a Gold Star family that I impacted pretty greatly. So that's the first thing. Obviously, our website, warhawkptsdservicedogs.org. If you need to email us, info@warhawkptsdservicedogs.org. Our
Beautiful.
biggest platform is Facebook,
Yes.
unfortunately, because I hate Facebook. Um,
I just liked
at
your page, so
Warhawk
you'll see me following
PTSD
you now.
Service Dogs. So at Warhawk PTSD Service Dogs. And if you ever need to call or text, it's 918-815-6775.
And
Not
what
my
is
personal cell.
if a veteran would like a dog?
If a veteran would like a dog, we're opening up applications January 1st. It'll be on the website. You apply, we reach out to you. We do a full investigation on you. Number one, we're going to do a background check. Number two, we're going to do a financial check on you. You got to sign an authorization. We're going to visit you in your home. We want to make sure that you're not living out of your car. If you are living out of your car, we're going to help you in other ways. We're going to have a formal interview with you, with the board, and we're going to sit down with you face to face, and we want to see your DD 214. We do not require a letter from the VA stating that you are qualified for a service dog due to PTSD. We have professional bullshit sniffers. We know who you are based on your DD 214 and your interview and inspecting your home. We want to ensure safety for the dog, and we want to ensure that we are being fiduciarily responsible for every donor and sponsor we've ever had. So we have a pretty good process, and it's worked well for us, and we want to help people, and we want to cut as much red tape as possible, but you're still going to apply. End of story.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
Um,
guys. Thanks for having me on.
yeah,
Thank you. Thanks for
and
coming.
everybody who's listening, guys, this was a different show tonight, but this is something that is very, very much needed, and we're going to do it more and more. More he is Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
We're going to do this more often, and Kevin, if you want to come back on, we'd love to have you.
I'll stay in
I'd love to
touch. I
be a
want to stay in
guest.
touch.
Thanks,
Excellent.
guys. Appreciate
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right, everybody out there, thanks for watching. We love you. Log in, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and our website, politicalnobrainer.com. Until next time, peace.
Peace.